Think positive.
Welcome back to the Golden Bros podcast, GA for short. I'm your host, Prince. This is a space for inner work, self-improvement, self-discovery, mindset, accountability, integrity, reflection, and personal development. This podcast is built for growth, for honesty, and for becoming a better version of yourself one day at a time. New episodes drop every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Today's episode is called Alone After Choices and Decisions. Some of the hardest moments in life happen after you make the decision, after you choose your path, after you follow what feels right to you, because that's when you realize sometimes not everyone is coming with you. Not everyone understands the choice you made. And sometimes the direction that brings you the most peace is also the one that leaves you walking alone. Everyone talks about the opportunity. Everyone talks about the excitement. Everyone talks about the dream. But very few people talk about what happens after the decision is made. Because sometimes after the choice, after the commitment, after the moment you decide to go a certain direction with your life, you realize something. You might end up alone. Not because you did something wrong, not because you betrayed anyone, but because the direction you chose was not the direction everyone else wanted for you. And that is a reality many people eventually face. The moment where your decisions begin to separate you from the expectations of others. One of the most important questions anyone can ask themselves is simple. What actually matters to you? Not what matters to your friends, not what matters to your family, not what matters to people watching your life from the outside, but what matters to you. Because at the end of the day, the life you are living is your responsibility, your happiness, your fulfillment, your direction. A lot of the time, people spend years chasing things that don't belong to them. They chase expectations. They chase approval. They chase acceptance. But the moment you start paying attention to what you truly care about, something interesting happens. A vision begins to form. A feeling begins to grow. An idea starts living in your mind that refuses to leave. Many creatives understand this feeling. Many builders understand this feeling. Many people chasing something different understand this feeling. You start thinking about something constantly, an idea, a direction, a path. And the strange part about it is you can't fully explain it yet. You just feel it. You think about it when you wake up. You think about it when you're driving. You think about it when you're sitting in silence. The thought keeps returning. The vision keeps forming. And when people ask why you're going in that direction, you struggle to explain it. Because sometimes the vision doesn't come with the full explanation. It just comes with the feeling that it matters. And when something truly matters to you, it becomes impossible to ignore. Here is where things start getting complicated. The moment you start pursuing something that matters deeply to you, other people begin giving their opinions, advice, concerns, doubts, warnings. Sometimes those opinions come from people who genuinely care about you. Family, friends, people who want to protect you. But there is something important to understand. Even when people love you, they still may not understand your vision because the vision was given to you, not to them. They didn't feel the spark. They didn't experience the moment the idea appeared in your mind. They did not sit with the thoughts that kept coming back day after day. So when you explain it to them, they hear words, but they don't feel what you feel. Because of that, many people will offer input based on their own fears, their own experiences, their own understanding of what life should look like for you. Eventually, a moment arrives where you have to make a decision. You either move toward the thing that matters to you or you move toward the comfort of keeping everyone around you satisfied. And that is not always an easy choice, because choosing your path may disappoint people. It may confuse people. It may even make some people question you. But the truth is, there are moments in life where you have to choose anyway. You have to decide what direction you're going in. And once that decision is made, things begin to change. Sometimes the choices you make feel completely right to you. You feel peace about them. You feel excitement about them. You feel like you're moving in the direction you're meant to go. But the people around you may not see it the same way. Family members might not agree. Friends might not agree. People might question your thinking. They might ask, why would you do that? Why would you risk that? Why not just do what makes sense? But the problem is, what makes sense to someone else might not align with what feels right for your life. And that is where the separation begins. Not necessarily in anger, not necessarily in conflict, but in understanding. Because they simply see life differently than you do. This is the part very few people talk about. After the choices are made, there can be a quiet space, a space where the noise fades, a space where the opinions settle, a space where you realize something important. The path you're walking might feel lonely at times. Because once you choose a direction that truly belongs to you, you may not have as many people walking beside you. Some people will stay. Some people will support you. But others may step away. Not because they hate you. Not because they wish you harm. But simply because they cannot understand the direction you're going in. This is something many people struggle with. They assume that feeling alone means they made the wrong choice. But that is not always true. Sometimes being alone simply means you are walking a path that was meant specifically for you. History is filled with people who walked alone before others understood their vision. Creators, inventors, builders, artists, leaders. Many of them had moments where they stood in their belief without a crowd around them. Because clarity does not always arrive with popularity. Sometimes clarity arrives quietly. And the only person who truly understands it is the one carrying the vision. There may come a moment where it feels like it's just you, just your thoughts, just your belief, just your commitment to the direction you chose. And that moment can feel very heavy, but it can also be powerful. Because when you remove all outside noise, you are left with one simple question. Are you happy with the path you're walking? Not perfect, not easy, but meaningful. Because if you wake up every day knowing you're moving towards something that matters deeply to you, then the opinions of others begin to carry less weight. Not because you disrespect them, but because you finally understand something important. Your life cannot be built entirely around the approval of others. There will always be people who disagree with your choices. That is a part of life. But disagreement does not mean failure. And it does not mean you should abandon what matters to you. Sometimes the most honest decision a person can make is choosing the direction that brings them the most fulfillment, even when others would choose differently. Because at the end of the day, you're the only one living your life, not the crowd, not the opinions, not the expectations. You. If the path you chose leads to a life that feels meaningful to you, then the temporary feeling of being alone may simply be part of the journey. It's also important to recognize something else during moments like this, because while some people may disagree with your choices, and some people may distance themselves from the direction you're going, there are also people who choose to stay. People who may not fully understand your vision, but they respect it. People who may not see everything the way you do, but they still support your right to walk your own path. And sometimes just knowing that those people exist is enough to remind you that the journey isn't as lonely as it once felt. The truth is, life doesn't stop after the decision is made. The journey continues, the days keep moving. New opportunities appear. New lessons appear. New moments begin to shape the direction you're walking. And sometimes when you look back, you begin to understand why the choices you made mattered so much. Because the path you chose started creating a life that feels more honest, more intentional, more aligned with who you truly are. And when that begins to happen, you realize something important. The moments that once felt uncertain were simply part of the journey that was leading you forward. Somewhere along the way, doubt tries to show up. You start second guessing things, second guessing the path, second guessing the decisions you made. But moments like that reveal something important, what you're really made of. Because when things feel uncertain, it comes down to something simple. Were you serious about this path, or were you just interested in it? And moments like that have a way of answering that question. When those doubts show up, you have a choice. You can let them grow, or you can silence them. Not by pretending they don't exist, but by remembering why you chose this path in the first place. By reminding yourself what matters to you. And sometimes that's all it takes. A quiet reminder to yourself that the direction you're walking still means something. So, if you ever find yourself in a moment where the choices you've made have left you feeling alone, take a moment to remember something. Alone does not mean lost. Alone does not mean mistaken. Alone does not mean you failed. Sometimes alone simply means you had the courage to follow something that mattered deeply to you. And even if others don't fully understand it today, that does not make the vision any less real. Because the life you are building was never meant to belong to everyone else. It was always meant to belong to you. I hope you found something worth taking with you today. Maybe a new perspective. Maybe a moment to pause and reflect. Thank you for being here and sharing this space with me. Your presence matters. If this resonated with you, share it with someone you care about, because growth spreads through connection. I'll see you next time. Take care of yourself. Stay grounded. And as always, be safe.